All right, troops, Happy New Year. Welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. So here we are, 2025, and you may notice we're a man down this week. And for those of you who don't know, I'll just let you know right now, J-Man unfortunately had a heart attack just before Christmas, and he was in hospital for a while. He was out, but he was back in hospital last night with some complications. He's okay, but he's got some other issues, which I'm not going to go into here for his privacy. But we wish him well anyway. J-Man, we love you and hope to see you back soon, fit and healthy. For the love of God, rest up and get better, and stop doing live streams. You're banned from this one until you're feeling better.
Okay, how many invites you send yourself? You're not allowed in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to remove him as an admin with just like block, so he can't come in. So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2025. It's been an interesting holiday season, but so I thought, well, we'll just jump on tonight. And because Den of Thieves 2 is coming out next week, I'm going to see it on Monday. So I thought, well, let's just do a little stream tonight. I don't know how long it'll be, maybe an hour or whatever, just to revisit the first movie. And I only watched it once whenever it first came out, and then I watched it on the plane back home over Christmas. And I don't love the movie. I got to say, I think Den of Thieves is a very average film. I think when the action happens, it is good. I think the best thing about it is Pablo Schreiber. Mm-hmm. I love him. I think he's awesome. I liked him in Halo. I think he's got action star written all over him. He's just got that natural sort of badass thing. But this movie so desperately wishes it was Heat, but isn't. It's like, I wish I was Michael Mann, but I'm not. Because you've got like the aerial camera shots at nighttime or anything, and you just, it's so wishing that it was, but it just doesn't quite have the gravitas. I think I enjoy it. Like my thing was like Gerard Butler's character in Big Nick is like a total dick. I'm like, am I supposed to root for this guy? I was like, it's like Heat in the way where the criminals are more interesting than the cops. Like O'Shea Jackson as well, and he's sort of the main one, and he's returning for the second one. Pablo Schreiber was great. Like I said, he and O'Shea were like the two most interesting characters. But I thought the film was just too long. After the opening scene, it's like this great opening 15 minutes, and like nothing happens for a while, and then it's almost downright boring for a while. I enjoy some of it. I like seeing Gerard Butler kind of be a dick, but I don't really root for the guy at the same time. There's a decent shootout at the end. But yeah, like Real Popcorn Geek says here, where is it? I liked it better than Heat, though. Really? Wow. Okay. I saw it for the first time tonight. More of a crime thriller than an action movie. Yeah, kind of is, really. Yeah. Den of Thieves, it's fine. I give it like 3 stars. I got 3 out of 5. I thought, some decent action. The performances are all right, but it's not one that I'm tempted to watch that often. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It's okay. I'm still looking forward to seeing the sequel next week, which looks kind of bonkers, but we'll see. Anyway, Steve, what do you think of it? You just watched it.
Yeah, I just saw it. I agree with a lot of what you say. It is far too long. It's like coming up to 2.5 hours, which I find absurd, considering that they keep going back to Gerald Butler's domestic situation constantly, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's over. You said what you need to say in the first scene. We didn't need to see that. I don't care if he's encumbered or unencumbered with the, he's a good father. He's not a good father. I don't care. This whole thing is about the plot that the robbers are doing. That's what they need to focus on, because that is by far the most interesting thing in this movie. Not if 50 Cent's daughter is going to be, her prom date is going to be threatened by him and his crew. I don't care. Like, there's always little moments.
I did love that scene, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine on its own, but when you look at it from the overall perspective, I'm sitting there like, what are we doing here? Because you have this really interesting plot going on of how they're going to rob the treasury, and there's just like all this other stuff that I'm like, it doesn't ultimately lead anywhere, and it doesn't make a difference to me one way or the other. This is one where I'm definitely rooting for the robbers. When they're getting away, I actually felt bad that the cops caught them. I want them to actually make a clean getaway. Like when he's chasing them and they're stuck in the traffic jam, I had the reaction I always have when I go to a traffic jam, which is this sucks. Especially so because they're trying to get away. There's not a lot of action. I liked the shootout. I definitely thought this thing was a wannabe heat. Like 100%. I don't mind any of the characters. I just I agree that Pablo Schreiber and O'Shea Jackson were definitely the top 2 characters in the movie. I knew O'Shea Jackson was probably the mastermind of this throughout the movie, just because I've seen so many of these movies, I can just pick up on that thing. So that was fine. I mean, I agree. 3 out of 5 sounds like the right rating for me. It's decent. It does try and get too clever, and it becomes a little bit mucky when it starts to get clever. Like O'Shea Jackson ended up in that little box with the money. I'm like, well, how did he get there from this? How? And then the lady was telling security, and he was walking away, but that never went anywhere. And I'm like, what's going on? It tried to be far more clever than it was, and what it could have been was a really sleek 105-minute movie that focused on this really intelligent way to break into, almost like a Mission Impossible. How, I was thinking almost of Tom Cruise when he was describing all the things, and I was like, this would have been a great Mission Impossible movie, to be honest with you. We got to break into the treasury and, steal all this money. And again, it falls into this sort of trap too, I want to say, where they got the technical advisor and they're like, oh, we want to make this feel as authentic as possible. So they use a lot of lingo, I can't think of any, but when they were talking at the beginning, they were discussing, when they stole the empty armored car, and they're talking in police lingo, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm sure it's police stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing the sequel just because I was interested to what O'Shea Jackson was going to do in, stealing from the diamond exchange in London. I think that would be kind of cool. But this movie it's okay. It's definitely not worth 2.5 hours. 105 minutes would have been perfect for me.
Yeah, I agree, because Real Popcorn Geek says, wish it was an hour 40, 2 hours tops. Yeah, exactly. You could easily cut a few bits out just for pacing issues, for sure. And I think, I'm sure everybody's seen the trailer for the sequel by now. What's the bet that Gerard Buter hasn't really left the police, and this is like some operation he's working on to try and bring him down or something, and it's going to be an off-the-record thing. And it's like, oh, there's a shock. Who'd have thunk it? So, well, how come in movies or shows like this, the main character wife hates her cop husband for being a cop? So tiring. Yeah. I mean, that's been a trope for 30 or 40 years. Come on, it's
getting old.
Cliche in the book. Yeah.
It is very cliched, and the guy's all tatted up. He's got the tattoos. He's got the regulator. He shows the regulator's tattoo. He's like, I'm part of a club. Like a club too, and all that. And I'm like, this guy just straight. What was it? Ethan Hawke said in Train Day, "You're a street cop." This is what Gerard Buter is. He's going to do some shady shit to get the job done. That's how he's been set up right off the beginning, and no one should expect it to be any different.
Yeah, that pissed off FBI agent. That whole interaction between him and Butler got annoying after a while.
Yeah, it did.
I was like,
shut up.
I was just like, fucking kiss at the end of the movie.
Get a room, you two. Yeah, totally. Actually, just nice shave one. Yeah, it's growing back. Don't worry, I'll be back by next week. I hate it. Although the girls at work think it makes me look younger, but I just think it makes me look like a fat potato. But anyway, Flight Risk. Yeah, Flight Risk is actually going to be the next thing I see after Den of Thieves 2. I think, I don't know if there's anything else out this month, but I just want to see it for Mark Wahlberg's receding hairline and crazy accent. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in.
Mel Gibson directed it.
It's funny how they're deliberately not saying it. It's like, from the director of Braveheart, Mel Gibson. Yeah, I want to say his name.
It's like you can tell he's wearing a
hair
to make it bald.
Yeah. Anyway, John, what do you think of Den of Thieves?
Okay, I liked it a lot better. I mean, Charlie, why don't you go next? Because that way, because because I liked it a lot better than you guys are saying right now. So it's like
there's nothing wrong. J-Man's not here to bust your balls, John.
No, I'm just,
go nuts.
I just want to hear what you have to say about it before I start being like, okay, well, this is what I think.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fair enough. But this is the first time watch for me. I knew it was out. I knew Gerard Buter was in it. I've kind of slept on it, watched it, part of it last night, and then the rest of it today, because it was over like 2.5 hours long. I was like, Jesus, I got it. You feel it, man. I love Gerard Buter and just about everything. He looked like a badass in this. He is a dick I didn't want to root for. And Steven, you took exactly my point was, I don't give two fucks about your family, bro. Like this doesn't push the story along. You could have been single and nothing would have changed anything in the movie. So all that was just dragging out the time to run. Why he pulled O'Shea's character out in the middle of everybody, whenever he walked into that restaurant or whatever it was, like, the fuck was that? Like, that went nowhere and did nothing but get O'Shea in deep shit. Okay, I did fall for the flip. I didn't know it was O'Shea because I kept watching this movie going, why the fuck did they do that? Why the fuck did they do that? The fucking garbage truck driver. I'm like, it's the wrong garbage truck driver.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you do that? All the way up to the end when I went, oh, this guy, he's in on it. Cool. And then all of a sudden I'm watching a Guy Ritchie movie at the end where they're all in a English pub talking like Cockney guys.
Oh, governor.
Yeah. I was waiting for Jason Statham to fucking walk in or some shit.
No, that would have been an ending.
That would have been
an ending.
But I didn't hate this movie. I did enjoy it. I would never call this an action movie though. Like this was a crime thriller. Definitely felt like Heat. And I'm not huge on like those goofy heist movies, the Ocean's 11 or the Now You See Me movies. But the bank heist, like you said, I was in with the robbers. Like I love the dynamic there. 50 Cent. I always like that guy in a movie. So he's selling it. He's that quiet stoic. Okay, fine. You want to rip off Bad Boys 2 with the prom date thing. I was like, that's fine. Yeah. I liked all the Samoan guys. Those motherfuckers are giants. But I cared about those. That moment when the main robber guy walks into the same house that Gerard Butler's in with the stripper, and they're like looking at the gun on the counter, looking at each other, and then just walk past each other. I'm like, I like that. I felt tension right there, and it worked. It's just a little disjointed. Like I get what they're doing, but at first they didn't want to be cop killers, but at the end of the movie they got a fucking saw out there and they're mowing down with innocent people in the middle of them and the cops. I'm like, that totally goes away with that dramatic line of, well, we're cop killers now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, now you're everyone killers now. And no one, I don't care about your cause. And I don't know enough about Gerard Butler's crew. I know more about the robbers crew and I care about them. And I see Gerard Buter, but I know dick about the other guys. So I don't care when they're getting shot other than it just pushes Gerard Buter further and further. I liked it. I really did. I think you're right. 3 out of 5. It's right around in there. Is this one that I would?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I was thinking that it was a very much like Kaiser Soze.
Yeah.
And especially when he changes his fucking accent at the end of the scene.
He's undercover.
Yeah. Well, I kept doing the whole thing like, where did he get the other badge? I saw him, because he puts that other badge in the cash register earlier in the movie, and I was like, okay, that's where that came from. That food would be extremely cold and extremely stale.
Well, that's when the lady spit it out. She was it was up there for like a week or so.
You would have known that before he got 20 feet away from them, and they'd have been able to yell at him.
Yeah.
It was a lot of had to stretch your ability to believe what's going on. Other than that, though, I did like it. I'm glad I watched it, and I will watch the second one. I hope they fix some of this, especially the pacing. It just, God, easily could have took 30 minutes out of this movie without even trying. Like I could literally watch it right now and go edit, and put it all back together just like it is, and you'd have a faster paced, better movie. But
yeah,
that's me.
Yeah. Okay, John, don't be scared.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Awesome. That's great.
Okay. I apologize in advance.
Why are you apologizing, John? Don't worry.
No, okay.
J-Man's not here, John. Just go.
Oh, even if he was there, I'd be more excited because then I could go back and forth. So all
4
right.
minutes longer.
There's a director's cut to this movie. If you bought it on Blu-ray, it came with the director's cut, and I have not seen the director's cut.
I have it on Blu-ray, and I've never watched it. I just watched it on Netflix because I could download it onto my phone and watch it. So I still have to watch it at some point.
So yeah, I have yet to watch the director's cut. This was the third time watching it. Okay, now points I agree with. Yes, unfortunately, this is a wannabe Heat, and that's what it gets sucked into. Like, obviously, Heat is the gold standard when you talk about crime thrillers, and Michael Mann and Al Pacino and freaking Robert De Niro in the same goddamn room. It's like, how do you beat stuff like that? Mm-hmm. But if you take this movie aside as like, okay, do not compare it with that classic that everybody loves and watches to this day. It's a good movie. Now, I agree with the points of the family. Yes, after the initial scene when his wife was pissed because he texted her when he was supposed to be texting the chick he was banging.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of because I've done that before. Like when I was married, I accidentally or actually when I separated from my wife, I was like bitching to my friend and I accidentally sent a text.
Accidentally.
So watching that tonight, I laughed out loud when she was like, she's like, how does that happen? I'm like, well, I've done that too. But so okay. So yeah, but although it did lead to another funny scene where they're having that double date with their friends, and then the guy, and he comes in with the divorce papers, and he's totally making that guy shit his pants. I thought that was hysterical. Because here's the thing, Big Nick O'Brien, you're not supposed to like him. He's a dick. He's a cop, but he doesn't give a shit what he does. He'll do whatever it takes. He'll mow over anybody that gets in his way, but I still gravitated towards him. I still enjoyed seeing him play.
So you kind of loved him.
I loved his character.
Yeah.
I didn't care if he won. That's the difference. Yeah. Like if he's going to be the main, the protagonist, I want him to win. That's the big thing.
I wanted it where they had after the initial huge shootout, like there was this like mutual respect between them or something. I would have went for that a lot more.
They did that a little bit.
A little bit.
Checks the chamber because he knew he wasn't going to go back in cuffs.
Right.
So I took that as that one, like without him like holding his hand or some dumb shit. Like I would have hated that. But that nod of I know what you did and respect. Go for it.
Now, here's the thing. Like you got with the scene where he's in the restaurant, he walks up to them and he outs O'Shea in front of him. That's because he doesn't give a shit. He's like, I am totally fucking with these people because I know who it is. I know what they're going to do. I want them to know that I'm onto them because I am indestructible. I am Big Nick O'Brien and I don't give a shit. I will do whatever I want and say whatever I want to anybody. And I loved it. I just gravitated towards it. I'm like, I ate it up and I just thought Gerard Buter, he just acted the crap out of this. I mean, he was like, you know what? If I'm going to play a dick, I'm going to play the best dick I can. And I'm just going to I'm going to go big or go home. And I love the dynamic with both. Okay. Now, Charlie, I will agree with you. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of backstory to Big Nick's men, although you do get a lot of camaraderie with them because there's a lot of scenes where they're investigating. Yeah. I loved how they were the best of the best. They were major crimes because you even hear Pablo Schreiber say, if it's major crimes, we have a problem. And of course, they're major crimes. They're like the elite. They're like the badass of the baddest cops. It's like when they're like the Delta Force. They're the cops you call in like when no other cop can do whatever they're supposed to be doing. And then I loved Pablo Schreiber's crew, like 50 Cent, and like I loved how they were. Not only were they Marines, but you hear them. They were Marcom Fast Marines. You hear the guy say that. Like, not only were they Marines, they were the badass of the badass Marines. So I liked how the criminals were ex-special forces because that dynamic. And when they're robbing, because I'm into military movies. I've told you guys in the past. And I loved how, like during the action, like how they're like reloading. I love all that shit. So I love that dynamic, and I loved Big Nick and his group, and I liked how they kind of went back and forth, and I just liked how he fucked with Pablo. Then he goes in. They're at the shooting range, and he goes walking in, and he's like. And it was kind of like pulling your dick out, but with guns, sequence, because like they're all shooting, right? And then Big Nick takes out his gun and he's like, pa, 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 pa. And then Pablo Schreiber takes out his, he's like, pa, 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 pa. And he just keeps fast reloading, and then and then they all leave, and then he pushes the thing, and they're all in the center, and he's just like, fuck it. He just grabs it, and yes, it's not an action movie, it's a crime thriller, but aside from the family theatrics, which yes, they could have cut that out and shaved probably like 20 minutes off of it, which I would have been totally fine with. Again, I'm like, it's not a perfect movie, but watching it tonight, like I said, I just watched it before we got on tonight. I'm never bored when I watch this movie. I just like how, and I love the scene where they're in the Federal Reserve. That's a nail-biting, tense sequence. You're just like they're doing something illegal, but you're like, I want them to get away with it. It's like, it's like, why am I rooting for them? It's like, because they're not really that bad. Like, yes, they did kill cop. Well, the one guy was a loose cannon. He's the one that shot the cop, and he was reaching for his gun at the end at the beginning when he dropped his coffee.
Right.
So he had to. I mean, but they didn't see him reach for his gun. But like. I just love the whole shootout at the end, because like the Heat shootout, yes, the Heat shootout at the end in that movie, the finale, is like that's the standard that you shoot firefight scenes. Like when people are like, you know what, I want to do a firefight sequence, they watch Michael Mann's.
Yeah, it's apparently like taught in classes. Yeah.
It is, and it's so realistic and it's so authentic that this is like they show this is what you're supposed to do in this situation in real life. But I loved how they were in a traffic jam, and like and it just added to the tense, and like there's all these people and they're just shooting at each other, and even though it doesn't reach the heights of the finale in Heat, I still loved it, and I loved their cat and mouse game throughout. Aside from the family thing, like I said, I loved Big Nick's character. I loved his dynamic. I love how he's an asshole, but yeah, I still liked him. I mean, did I want him to win? I'm like, it's like apples and oranges with like who's gonna win this. I would have been fine with like if it was Pablo Schreiber standing over him at the end, and I thought that would have been kind of a cool ending. Like if Pablo Schreiber gets him and he's standing over, he's like, I told you I wasn't gonna cuff up or something like that. Yeah. That would have been awesome.
And the sequel is him going after him. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
They just wanted to nail in that twist though, so you have to have him die.
Yes,
to have the twist at the end. So
I'll be honest with you, I would have ended it with O'Shea Jackson standing over Gerald Butler, and his line would have been, "And who's the Fraulein now, bitch?" Basically.
Yeah, there you go. Because he was already out. He had already picked the handcuff. He could have easily got over there. And when we find out that all the exposition earlier in the movie was done by O'Shea, then you actually see what really happened is that he masterminded it. That's when you do that line, and then boom, you cut to that flashback to where he has completely pulled the strings of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like to sum it up, I said, I love the dynamics of it. I love like him and Pablo Schreiber, and I met Pablo Schreiber at New York Comic Con. Fucking awesome guy.
Oh, really?
I love him I wish like Owen, you were saying how he needs to be an action star because he's got that look, he's got that attitude, he's a great actor. Yeah. He can do, and in Halo he was badass because I just finished watching that, and unfortunately that's been canceled. Yeah. So and again, I'm excited for the sequel, like because now Big Nick's he's basically where he should be because now he's like, fuck this, I'm not getting paid, so I might as well do what I was trying to catch in the meantime. But I would give this a 4 out of 5. I mean, you guys gave it a 3. I would give it a 4 out of 5, and I would give Heat a 6 out of 5. So it's like so just nobody come at me. It's like Heat. It's like yes, it's a poor man's Heat, and I've always called it a poor man's Heat, but it's a pour man's Heat that I enjoy thoroughly.
Yeah, it's hard to not compare.
Yeah,
yeah.
What I would say about the film is that it's manly as fuck. You know, and it's
Yeah,
nice to see something like that because we don't get to see movies like that these days. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
they're behaving like guys, like, oh, good, and not apologizing for it. Also, does anybody else think those donuts look amazing, even though he picks them up?
There's a couple without blood on them. I was like, that's the greatest line in this whole movie.
Let me just say this. Can I say it's freaking great when the good guys or supposed good guys are interrogating O'Shea Jackson and they have strippers. You know, they did these strippers before. So and they're like, ladies, you got to leave now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so politically incorrect in this day. And, you know, I've never been a fan of where we are in this stage of our society. So it's like that part, you know, so maybe this is why I like it more than I should.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's like,
that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I mean, there's lots to enjoy. I preferred it more the second time around. Whenever I watched it, whenever I saw it the first time, I remember I actually stopped watching it for a while and then went back to it, and that's never a good sign. And I was like, well, I suppose it's see how it ends. But I think wasn't it released like when was that?
2018.
2018, yeah.
Yes, 2018. I believe,
Something was happening there.
I
I
saw
can't
it in the
remember.
theaters.
Yeah. Something was happening in my life at that point, and I can't remember, but it sucked. And I can remember not really paying attention to it, so I had to see it again. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it more this time, and I will check out that director's cut at some point. But
exactly. I mean, it's longer. That's the only thing. You might have to do it in 2 nights.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the sequel on Monday anyway. But Den of Thieves is one of Gerard Butler's acting performances. Yeah, it's definitely one of them. Yep, correct.
Probably one of his better. I mean, I did like him in this. It's kind of hard to compare this whenever I watch things like White House Down, London Has Fallen. Like those are my favorites when it comes to modern Gerard Butler. So, but I did like
Fallen. White House Down.
Yeah, not the Channing Tatum one.
Yeah, the other one. They all came out the same goddamn time.
They did. Yeah.
I did love how he was like way bigger in this too. I read that they like packed on the weight. They wanted that bigger, but it wasn't like fat weight. Like he just got fucking big. And I was down for that. I liked Gerard Butler in it. I didn't like his character in it. And
he was great in it. Yeah. Now Adam Martin here is talking about Law Abiding Citizen. I love that movie because he couldn't quite hide his accent back then, and he still sounds Scottish. So I just remember it when he's just like, "It's gonna be biblical." Like, is it I? It's just like it just sounded so Glasgow.
That's a movie with how you do a twist. That's how you keep the audience guessing. That Law Abiding Citizen is one of my favorite like non-action Gerard Butler movies. Like seriously.
Yeah. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, it's a crime thriller rather than an action movie." What's the difference?
Lower body count.
It's drama. No, there's not. I mean, I guess it's an.
Are there shootouts? Yes. Do things explode? Yes. It's an action movie.
It's an action drama.
I think in this one, it just feels like there was a lot of stuff before we ever got any kind of action into it. Yeah,
I like an action movie. If it was a proper action movie, there would have been more action in it, like
more action,
shit like that. Yeah,
based out some good car chases. I would have loved to see more of O'Shea's driving that they kept talking about. That
it needed a decent car chase. Yeah, Adam mentioned that earlier. Yeah,
well, it looks like in the second one, because he's driving when he's shooting out the window.
Maybe that, like I said, maybe they're gonna fix some of the stuff that they feel was a little weak in this one, but it was like they had way too many ideas, and this director just went, I want them all in the movie and figure out how to make them all at least touch each other.
They should have put at least one more action sequence like somewhere in the middle, so that way like it would have been like, oh, okay. And
the big disconnect for me whenever it was like there was a point of tension, but then it took me out of it was when they left the bank, when they blew into the sewer. Gerard Butler and his team are in the sewer chasing them down. I'm already seeing them in the armored truck, in position, construction worker. I'm like, where's the time difference here? Because there's no way Gerard Butler was that far behind. It was like minutes after they heard the explosion that he put the pieces together about the sewer. So it was like either this all happened a block away or you did not know how to do your timing as far as editing goes. Because there should have been a showdown or a shootout in the sewer. There should have been that moment where they kind of fought at each other and then got away to still continue doing the thing. Because otherwise, it meant nothing. Why did you go into the bank to do all this shit to pop back out to get in the armored truck? I know that it's about fucking with Gerard Butler and Gerard Butler fucking with him. But it got to a point where it's like, this doesn't do anything. You're just
it was
putting shit on the
payoff.
screen.
The payoff, Charlie, was just basically like to make sure that the armored car, like the timing with Alameda in that, because it was coming from the bank and it was coming from there, and it was sort of like they wouldn't have had the ability to call it back or call it in because of the timing between the robbery and that. Like, but this is where it gets really complicated.
Yeah.
And there's no payoff, there's very little payoff. And that was the problem I had in a lot of this movie was there was a lot of complication and a lot of planning, but it didn't pay off that well. Like if you choose to set up a Mission Impossible situation, that mission has to succeed. Now, technically it did. They did rob the Federal Reserve, but they didn't get away with it. And that's when my problem started to get, like, I'm with John. I didn't like Butler's character, but I enjoyed his theatrics, I guess you could say. I just enjoyed the theatrics, even though I knew it had nothing to do with anything and didn't go anywhere. I'm like, shit, he's having fun with it, whatever the hell. They're both pulling out their penises and comparing them to see who's is bigger, whatever. I'm
Literally, they kept asking the stripper whose was bigger. That's pretty much
exactly.
Well, it's like Al Pacino in Heat. Like Vincent Hanna, he's not particularly likable. He's loud and obnoxious, but like from the initial script, the reason why his character is addicted to coke. And that's explored more in Heat 2, which is actually a great book, by the way, if anyone wants to read it. It's a really good sequel and prequel, kind of mixes them all together. But like his character is a cokehead. And that's the thing which is never really explained in the movie to explain why he's, the great ass, and all that stuff which he overacts. But it's hilarious. I prefer the director's cut of it where they cut out some of the crap lines, because I remember there's a terrible line in Heat, and I remember we laughed in the cinema. And his wife says, you sift through the detritus or something like that. And I was like, yeah, people don't say that. Nobody uses the word detritus in a conversation. So
she was educated.
It's like that movie. It's like that show Dawson's Creek. I watched the first season. And I watched Dawson. I'm like, no one talks like this ever. No student thinks like this. It's the same thing. But like with this thing, so I didn't have a problem with Gerald Butler's character until he caught them at the end. Then I got pissed off because I'm like, I invested too much emotionally into them getting away with this, that I was not in a good place when he caught them, because I didn't feel, I thought it was earned, but I feel like they did a better job of robbing the Federal Reserve than he did of catching them.
They were more human, which is the thing, is that they were almost more relatable because like they were struggling for cash or whatever, and like 50 Cent is one to look after his daughter and his family and everything, and and after that he's left without a dad, the daughter's left without a dad and whatever, so there's that. So it is almost more of a tragedy for that thing, but on the other hand, it's their choice. That's the thing. It's the choices they made, so that's where they end up being. So,
and this is where it comes into to do the movie for the audience. You have to do it a certain way. But after the reveal happens, and we're sitting here talking about it, I'm thinking about it. You find out that everyone was basically in on it. So the main guy knows that O'Shea is the mastermind, but he's like, I'm going to do it my way. Did he know he had shredded money in the back of the Suburban, or did he think he actually had money back there? Because why even do the shootout? They could have got away. Like bail. If you're the decoy, fucking bail. And Gerard Butler's now stuck in traffic, and you guys split off. But if you didn't know you had the shredded money, did they get fucked over by O'Shea?
I think ultimately? They got fucked over.
I think they did. He was only there for himself.
They wouldn't have like stood their ground if they,
that's my thought. But now that we know that we see that scene of him talking to, about setting this up, but he's like, it's my crew, it's my way. But he shows him all the drawings, like he has all the plans. Why would you fuck him over? Like, why not just be like, here's what we're going to fucking do? And it starts disassembling the movie as far as the twists and turns and everything.
Well,
but it just when you look at it, it just doesn't make sense. Not to mention that was not $30 million that he stole at the end of this. You ain't fitting $30 million in that little of a time span into those small of bags in two different dumpsters? Because they only picked up one dumpster with the Russian guy from Predators driving, and he only passes the other guy that they pull over that has the same black bags with the shred. There's something not lining up with the plan, and they never show us.
So the money was actually shipped to Panama, and it was in tires.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was in the Federal Reserve and he was shoving it down the chute,
right.
It's going into one trash can, and I don't think there's two chutes to two separate trash cans.
No.
We see the Russian guy. I call him the Russian because that's what he played in Predators. But you see him go.
I know what you mean.
And dump that dumpster into his truck.
Mm-hmm.
He passes the other one, and he does the hat tip, and the other guy just raises his eyes. They never pull over. They never do anything because they immediately pull over the decoy trash truck and take it, which is the part where I think O'Shea's fucking them over.
Yeah.
But I'm like, when, where, how the fuck did you do that? And you had time to put shredded money into black bags, real money into black bags. You might have got like $5 million tops, not $30 million, but it's just some shit for as long as this movie was. I'm like, you're still missing shit. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Well, in terms of O'Shea Jackson, like screwing, like he had, because you saw at the end, like those were all his friends but they were on the same.
They were at the bar.
Team. Yeah, it's team in it. So Pablo Schreiber's team was a means to an end for him. He needed the muscle to get, because he was the brains. He's like, I can't get it done with these guys. They're my friends and everything, but it's like they can only be part of the
equation.
Went
for the professionals.
Exactly. So yeah, he went for the guys that, not only did he go for bank robbers, he went for ex-special forces bank robbers. So yeah, so in terms of that, he didn't hit. Pablo Schreiber was a means to end. He didn't care. He was just like, I don't give a shit what happened.
There's just to me, it was just a little bit of a disconnect.
It was.
Exactly. And that's what happens when you put a twist into a movie. Is
you
got to connect. Yeah, you got to connect all the things, and somehow he still left out a few. Even if you'd have just showed it to me in that flashback where we find out O'Shea is the one, because then it shows the truck, the garbage truck driver, and we start to see the whole crew. You're like, oh, that's why. Because I'm literally watching that movie from when they stole the garbage truck from the one dude. I'm like, it's the wrong fucking garbage truck guy. The whole rest of the movie, I'm going, it's the wrong fucking truck, guys. Who fucked up editing? And it got on to the end, and I was like, oh, that was planned. But when did they do it? And then I spiral. I was just like, I can't watch too many twist movies, man. I get fucked up.
Then you start overthinking them as well, which is the thing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a movie, and I get it. And it's, like I said, it's still enjoyable enough, but it's like, if I watch it a second time, I'm going to be like,
magnifying glass.
Pausing it, backing it up. Like, oh.
Speaking of that, but did anybody think that the guy that owned the bar was Ian McShane? Because that fucker looked exactly like his doppelganger. Because I looked it up. I'm like, that's not him. I'm like, I could have sworn that was Ian McShane.
It
but
did
he did
look
have
like
Louis
him.
Tan. Louis Tan was the security
guy.
Oh, Louis Tan. Yes.
Yep.
It was a small early role for him. Also, just for those who are nitpicking about it being a crime thriller rather than an action movie, what does that say?
It says cop drama.
Action.
Oh,
heist.
Action. Oh, action.
Crime. Drama.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
There is action in it.
Action.
Like, there's movies that only have one action sequence. Like, Tears of the Sun only has one action. It's an awesome action sequence at the end, but it's like that's still considered a military action thriller.
That's considered a war movie. Yeah, but
there's only one action. Aside from them going in, sneaking around, and shooting those guys in the village, there's only one major action sequence in that movie. So
I mean, it's called just being picky or poking.
Yeah, it's nitpicking. Yeah,
it's very nitpicky.
Yeah.
I would put this in an action.
Oh,
shelf at the movie store, 100%.
Yeah.
You got
the fact that the artwork is guys with guns. Oh, there you go.
Well, and like you guys said, I mean, this movie, if you owned it, there's actually testosterone that falls out of it whenever you open up the case. There's that.
Yeah, I mean, my chest hair grew a beard.
Exactly. Just go get that DVD and just kind of rub it around the face there, Owen. You'll just right out.
A ball did drop when I opened up my Blu-ray. So.
Was that your fourth or fifth one though, John? That's the question.
I lost count. I don't know. Plane's a good movie. Yeah, I like Plane.
It was initially going to be called Mayday, I think it was, and then Gerard Buter actually said to change the title to Plane. I can't remember why he wanted to do that, but because Mayday was a better title. But
Well, Mike Colton was cool in that movie. I love Mike
Yeah.
Colton in that movie, and I love the
Mike
fact
Colton.
that Gerard Butler was the action hero, but he wasn't he wasn't his normal self. He was a regular guy. He was a pilot. Yeah, he did some cool things in it, but he wasn't like
He wasn't special forces or military. You know, I do like when they play the everyman, but he can still hold his own. That usually works out.
Yeah,
I can't wait for Ship. Yeah.
I know. What else does Gerard Butler have coming out after Den of Thieves 2? Is there anything else? Because that kid's kind of made his name for himself as like an action star these days. Like, whatever happened to Night Has Fallen? I remember there being issues with that, and like Gerard Butler was going to like sue the company because
he made up with them. So that's why I'm curious. They had the lawsuit whole thing going on, but I read where they settled and they actually played nice with each other. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I watched Paris Has Fallen over the holidays. It was all right. It was kind of a bit talky at times. And also the female lead was like the annoying smart ass who can do no wrong, and I just found her really annoying. But it was okay. There's some decent action in it.
Well, just to answer your question, he's doing How to Train Your Dragon, the live one. He's actually playing the character he did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's playing Stoic. Yeah.
The sequel to Greenland is coming out. It says next Greenland Migration,
and In the Hand of Dante, which is a drama.
And then there's an untitled Ridley
really?
Scott Simon Mann project.
Yeah,
I like Levin's Trade. That was a better name than A Working Man. That's a really boring title. That's disappointing. But I was looking forward to that. I think that's this year.
Did you guys watch Cop Shop? That's one I still haven't.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the cinema. I was having Frank Grillo. I'm not going to miss
that. Is that the Frank Grillo? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
opening
that's
music is Magnum Force. Hell yeah.
Oh, and you actually, and you and I, when Cop Shop came out, you and I was on.
We talked about it. Yeah, it was just
you and I did.
Yeah.
We did our Gerard Butler Love Fest when that movie came out.
Yeah, that was BC before Charlie.
I have my own timestamp on the actual.
Right?
I love that.
Was it before or after Charlie?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Where's Suizo Swan when you need her?
He didn't have anything come out in 2024 other than some animated voiceover work. So
yeah.
Huh.
Oh, he's rich. He's got his own production company. So it's like,
well, yeah. I mean, but like you said, I just like seeing Gerard Butler coming out and doing stuff. I don't want him to fall the way of straight to video or something like some of the other guys do. I like it when he gets
he's got that Stallone Schwarzenegger vibe. I think because everybody says like, oh, there's no like him, Statham, he's got the same vibe that those guys have.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like that old-fashioned or tough guy. Even Frank Grillo as well. They're just these guys who are, but they can actually act at the same time as doing action scenes, which is also the thing. I do miss one-liners though. I miss more one-liners in movies.
Yeah.
Ridiculous bad guy deaths need to make a comeback as well.
Yes, exactly. Ridiculous bad guy deaths. You're discharged, Sarge.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I love
that. That is my all-time favorite bad guy death to this day.
One of the greatest. Yeah. I did go get to see, speaking of Frank Grillo, I watched Werewolves in theater. I caught it just before it left.
I love that.
Dude, it's just dumb fun, man, and I had a blast. I was the loudest one in the theater.
He had a one-liner. Fight me. I love that.
Yeah, and he's playing that like he's playing a scientist, which was kind of weird to see this fucking buff cut dude playing.
But he was a badass ex special forces.
Right, they tie it in. But man, I definitely want more movies like that. Just dumb fun action for no fucking reason.
And then the finale. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil anything. But the finale, what happens at it's the final fight? I'm like
glorious.
I was like, this is awesome. I
was like, this is so ridiculous. I love every fucking second.
That's it. You're sitting there going, this is so ridiculous and like insane.
As soon as somebody says to me, "Yeah, this movie's fucking trash," I'm like, "Yeah, 5 stars."
100%. I have told everyone about this thing, and I want everyone to watch it. I don't give a shit. I'm buying it when it comes out.
Oh, me too.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Supermodels and Marines can be scientists. Hell yeah, they can. That was the 90s, sir. That was
Katrina Law. Ooh.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
Yeah, Christmas Jones.
Good
God, that was crazy, man.
Dylan Sprouse, the action star. Oh, where'd I go?
Oh, fuck off. We are not doing that.
I've never actually seen it. Aftermath. I know I saw the trailer to it, but it's just one of these ones.
Voodoo had, or Fandango at home had that for $5 over the weekend. I bought it, so I'm gonna watch. I'm like, I'll buy it.
I don't know about Dylan Sprouse. Jesus, man, that's
yeah.
It's like my kids' Disney Channel watching days and shit like that. It's exactly. I can't take them serious,
I
man.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, Adam's saying it. Who's Dylan Sprouse? Yeah, I don't actually know.
They're the
Does
two
he have a
twins,
twin?
right? They're the
Yeah,
twins.
him and Cole Sprouse.
They
Yeah.
were the original twins on Full House. Uncle Jesse, their kids that they had,
I
the
never
little
watched it.
boys.
That guy? It was that.
Yeah,
that
that's
guy?
the Sprouse brothers. And then they did The Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. I got kids, man. I got to watch this shit. And they've gotten older and they're doing. It's fine if you want to do movies, but I can't take you serious.
Well, in Dylan Sprouse's defense, most Navy SEALs look like him and not Sylvester Stallone. When you
Yeah.
You're not wrong about that when you look at them now. You are right. It's a generational thing.
Oh fuck, what was I going to say? Something about that. Yeah. So I've spent the past few days catching up on all my 4Ks, which I bought over the Christmas period. So I watched the Demolition Man 4K from Arrow, which is awesome because it has two different versions of it. It's got the US version and the international version. The one with Pizza Hut,
and Taco Bell.
But the funny thing was, in the UK, ours was Taco Bell, even though we didn't have Taco Bell there, because that joke fell flat in the cinema. Everyone was like, Taco Bell, and we're like, what the fuck's Taco Bell? And that was the thing. But apparently everywhere.
Did they change it for the release of home video to do
that?
that?
I think so. They changed it to Pizza Hut, I think I've said. But I love having the two versions, and I've got a review coming, which I'm probably going to post tomorrow for it. So I watched that. I watched Kickboxer, the 4K Steelbook, and finally, this has the international cut. I've talked about this to so many people. And I was like, why are there these scenes that aren't in the US version? The US version is shorter. I grew up watching the UK VHS, and then when I watched the US version, I was like, where's the scene with Eric telling him to find Tong Po and to fuck him up bad and all this? And I was like, I wasn't in it. And it was like seen as a deleted scene. But it's in the international cut, which is on this 4K. Unfortunately, it's on a Blu-ray, and it's like VHS quality for some reason. I'm like, you couldn't remaster that, because this is what I consider the definitive version of the movie, because I always felt like I was watching the incomplete movie watching the US version. But the 4K looks good. Once again, I got a review for that done. That's all I've done, is just watch stuff and review stuff and just build up reviews. I also watched
nothing wrong with that.
Earlier today, I watched Men of War with Dolph Lundgren, which I got on MVD.
I got that
the other day.
Is it good? Is it worth it? I bought that.
Well, it's worth it just for the movie alone, and there's a
special
features, cool making of, but there's not like that much else on it. No. It's worth getting because it's one of Dolph's better movies. So,
I do like that one.
What else?
That just came yesterday for me, so I have to.
Yeah, and then the amazing box set of The Hitcher, which I got.
I saw that, man. I would love to have that.
I love that movie. So
I got that. I got J-Man a copy of it. I mentioned Steve. I didn't get it for you, Charlie and John, because fuck you.
We're used to it. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fine.
Look, listen, put me down. Put Steven up top and put me down.
See, it's the thing. J-Man's not here. I don't know how to do that.
He doesn't know how to.
If he was, that would have been like.
He'll remove himself out of the chat if he does it too much.
Can I do that? No, see, I don't even know how to do it. I'm trying to drag this over.
It's not working. Who cares? Owen, I wanted to ask you though. You're watching all these 4Ks. Are they playing? Because I remember you bitching about your 4Ks.
No, a very nice person called Stephen actually got me a new 4K player last year, and I haven't had a single problem with it ever since. So
nice.
Thank you, sir. Right. Everyone needs a Stephen in their life.
Okay, what kind is it? So that way I'm gonna get one. So
Panasonic.
Panasonic.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's shit hot because I haven't had a single issue on it with anything. The one I have there is my LG one, which was like $300. That's hardly cheap shit, and yet it still would freeze all the time with everything. So 4K is generally just it's a flawed medium, and I can't understand why it hasn't really caught on with people. I still think Blu-ray is the best because I've never had any issues playing any Blu-rays.
There's even been some 4Ks that I feel like my Blu-ray was just as good.
Yeah,
most. I just watched my Total Recall 4K, and I was like, it looked great, but I was like, I'm pretty sure my Blu-ray looks just like this on my TV and stuff. But I don't know. Then there's other movies that just fucking melt your eyes, and they're just glorious on 4K. But
Roadhouse is one of the best looking 4Ks I've ever seen. Like Roadhouse is great.
That one was gorgeous. Like
I had
100%.
John Wick 2. So I have John Wick 2 on 4K, and I threw in the disc. I'm like, oh man, this looks so great. I can see why, 4K is everyone's, why everyone's so, dropping their pants over 4K. This movie looks awesome in 4K. And I looked and I had the Blu-ray in.
Oh,
There's nothing wrong with the Blu-ray. That's a thing. Like I don't have any problem buying Blu-rays and 4Ks. So.
Okay, I've known it because I have a 4K TV now. I don't have a player yet, which I'm going to rectify. But some of it looks darker than when I'm watching Blu-ray.
Mhm.
Is that?
Yes, yeah, I have
Yes,
noticed
right.
that. Yeah. I also, for some films, I've noticed that there's almost like some movies. There's like a film over it.
Yeah.
Kind of, where it looks like
I've-
there's like a screen or something. You know what I mean?
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It also comes down, and this is where you get into the video files. You really need a really good HDMI high speed cable to do it. You need to make sure that all your settings, like I first put in the Total Recall, and I'm like, it doesn't look any different. I had to actually go into my settings and like set it up for like UHD and shit like that.
I played with all that. Like, I mean, because when I buy streaming, like it's 4K, but I mean, so I've been playing it. I'm like trying to, I'm like, it's too dark.
I've gotten some great versions because my 4K is my Xbox. And whenever I that gives me the option to actually play the real UHD streaming movies. Fuck, man, those things will melt your eyes. Some of those are so fucking clean. And I don't know if it's because they get a chance to fuck with it a little bit better than on some of the discs. But it also comes down to a lot of these places are just pumping these discs out because they know we're going to fucking buy them. Oh, now we get to make more money on the 4K. Just like steel books. Just like the fucking giant books I've got over here. I may already own it, but I was like, no, I don't have that one. Like that Kickboxer 4K. I was like, I'm going to get it, but I had just got the Steelbook Blu-ray. And I was like, I can't fucking do it.
Or if you're like me, you see the cover. I'm like, I like that cover. I need this.
Oh yeah, I've done that before.
Dude,
Yeah,
I am a whore for covers, man. That's all there is to it.
Me too. I'm like, ooh, that's so nice.
Rule of thumb is 4Ks. It's got to be like I hear something really awesome about the 4K for me. If I got it on Blu-ray, I'm not upgrading to 4K now unless I hear like it's so awesome. Like Twisters, I heard the audio was amazing. I threw it. Twister, the first one. That's
the first one.
I threw it in. I'm like, yeah, the audio is amazing. Terminator, I ordered because I heard that's an amazing 4K. So something like that, something I don't have on Blu-ray. So Panic Room, I'm going to get on 4K because it hasn't been out on Blu-ray even. So I'm not going to go to Blu-ray. I'm going to go to 4K. So something like that, or if it makes sense from a spatial thing. So the Mad Max set, Furiosa was coming out. I had all the other ones on Blu-ray. I'm like, screw it, I'll just get the whole thing as a pack and get rid of the Blu-rays, and that's what I did.
Yeah. Adam's comment here is, oh my god, Demolition God. Yeah, it doesn't have a Blu-ray with it, but the 4K is great. But if you're wanting the Blu-ray of Demolition Man, you can get it. It's in the Stallone box set, which I haven't got for you, Steve.
Yeah,
and it's region free. It's got Tango and Cash, Cobra, Demolition Man, Assassins, and the Specialist. But yeah, so there you go. You have. But no, Demolition Man was worth every penny though, and like there's so many special features on it too. So
I got the one that has it's got the posters. Did you get the posters with it too?
Yeah.
Double-sided. So I've got the original mini poster from Taco Bell from back in the day, but now I get this one as a poster.
I remember Taco Bell's promotion back.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I got the little mini poster. I keep it back here. But
awesome.
just announced today we're getting Virtuosity on.
Yes,
4K.
I know. I was trying to save money. I was like, no, don't release that in 4K. No, I have to buy that. I'm already going to get John Carpenter's Vampires later this month. I think it's just Blu-ray, but I'm still going to get it.
But fucking Virtuosity is one I've been dying for in higher def.
Yeah. Adam says Arrow. Yes, Demolition Man is the Arrow one. I mean, if y'all can hold on, I'll go get them for you, and I'll show you them. I'll do a little parade. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll keep them occupied.
We should. Oh,
he can't hear us now.
Oh, you're fine. I'll show him what I got before he gets here. We got Towns of the Eagle.
I want to get all of those. I bought my girl's Christmas gifts. I
bought myself this. I can't wait to watch. I got the big ass box.
Oh, wow.
That magnet flap with the book and everything. Dude,
I'll show you something. This isn't Blu-ray, but this is okay. This was my Christmas present. Oh, hang on, it's heavy. This.
You got the full series.
Oh my god, it's so awesome!
Hell yeah! I like how they did it as like the trunk.
Yes,
that's badass.
Charlie, I opened up last night and I cried. I cried when I was like, "This is beautiful."
I don't blame you.
All right. Ooh. Okay. Owen, show. Yes. Let me see. Ooh, it
So
looks
that-
bad.
It's
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. So I'll open up. So, I mean, a lot of people were complaining that you didn't like the slip cover on it, and I'm like, shut up! These people fucking bitch about everything. It's like, go get laid.
Don't
And
kill my buzz. Go away.
So yeah, so it's got that inside again, and then I'm not going to open it up actually because it's got postcards and shit like that. Anyway, it's got the 4K out there.
Nice.
This is my baby though.
Oh,
That's-
man.
I
That's
love that
glorious.
cover. See,
Wow.
I
It is
want to
so-
get
I
it
want a
just for the
poster.
cover alone.
Yeah,
I want
dude,
on my
that as
wall.
a poster would be badass.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, like, this actually has like the screenplay with it, and it's other shit and posters and cards and everything. And this is only £45 I got this on Amazon UK, which is about 60 or 70 Canadian, I think, which is actually all right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about 50-55 for me and you, John. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
actually that's not far off from what I've paid for some of these I've got behind
Yeah.
me.
And then Man of War,
That's I
I
just
really
got
need to
that,
get
yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
like that one.
and then this is unrelated. Anybody read this book yet?
I got
I have-
that.
I saw
I
I've
have it.
seen it and I have not bought it yet.
Yeah, I kept seeing it, and I asked my brother for it, so he got it for me for Christmas. So
I got
mean,
that for
Those-
Father's Day, but I have not read it yet.
I think
I'm
that's
still
the-
reading.
That's the same guys that have that special on Tubi. There's a documentary, The Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On Tubi. I
guess.
think it's the same guys.
Yeah. I'm still reading Dune, so I'm probably going to be reading after the next 45 years. Because like I'm on page 370 or something like that, and like it's just at the part where like the Harkonnens have like attacked everything, and I was like, well, this happened like 30 or 40 minutes into the movie. So, the movie actually does. I appreciate the movie more after once you're reading the book, because you're like, they really managed to get the gist of the story very well told in the movie in that time without making it boring as fuck, which is very difficult. But I don't find the book boring, strangely enough. I mean, it's long, but I love it because I find, having watched the movie beforehand, I'm visualizing the actors in the roles.
That would be
And it's
different.
much easier when you're doing that because you're just like, oh yeah, I know who that is, whatever. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah. Strange Days and Johnny Mnemonic. I did.
Johnny Mnemonic.
I have Strange Days on VHS still because they've never really done like a proper release for it. So
I have a DVD of Johnny Mnemonic. I don't think we've gotten a Blu-ray or anything.
I
of
have
it
the
yet.
DVD.
I haven't heard of
Yeah,
it.
I've got the DVD.
I have a download that someone sent me a few years ago, and it was the Japanese cut of Johnny Mnemonic.
the uncut version of it. Yeah, I've seen it. I think I've got it on download. But
Yeah, so
hard
I haven't
copy.
actually watched it yet. It's just
yeah,
I never have time, so that's what I've been enjoying just over this past week. When I don't have to work or whatever, I'm able to actually catch up on all my movie watching and 4K watching and stuff. So that's been good. So,
oh yeah.
So next week we're going to be talking about Street Fighter, the Van Damme movie, which turned 30 years old. Is it great? Is it terrible? We'll discuss. Is it both? Is it terribly great?
Yes.
Yes to all of the above.
Great
I mean,
bad
really,
movie.
we really should be doing it on Tuesday, but we'll do it on Wednesday. Anybody who's seen the movie will get that reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
me, it's Tuesday. But yes, that's next week, and then the week after, we're finally going to talk Mark for Death, because I know people have asked us to do that. So I just give you an excuse to watch Mark for Death again as well. So it's one of my favorite Seagal movies, so that should be fun. Yeah. So anybody else have anything cool, Charlie or John or Stephen, and cool coming up this week?
Start. What is this? Yep. Just had Beekeeper come out. Next week we cover The Substance for our horror side. Fucking fantastic. Probably my favorite horror movie of 2024. And then it's my birthday picks this month, and I get Total Recall, which is why I was watching my 4K. We're covering that on the show, and then Chopping Mall. So it's gonna be a good.
Yeah, I love Chopping Mall.
It's gonna be a good month over on the podcast.
I'm going to be doing my best of 2024 when I figure out what my number one is, because I keep flip-flopping it.
I gave up. Like as far as I'm concerned, we discussed it on the year in action. I can't be arsed. So I don't care.
I do it every year, so it's like, but it's like I got my top 10, and then I got my the back 20, the back 10, and then I got the top.
The
10.
honorable
Like,
mentions.
The back
Yeah,
20
yes.
is more accurate, John. There's
Well,
20 of them I can't
I
pick.
think I got 35 on my list, so yeah. So
There's some pretty decent movies out last year. Actually.
But I still haven't seen some from last year. Like
You
I
need to
said,
watch The Shadow Strays. The Shadow Strays is my favorite.
I did see The Shadow Strays, and then when it was over, I was like, fuck. So it's like, where I put that now?
It's like that and Beekeeper. I think are probably my two favorite action movies. But there were a lot of good movies out last year. I found that the genres really sort of made a comeback after quite a couple of years with COVID.
Yeah.
So it's good. So and it looks like it's a good few things coming out this year. There's things which I don't even know about. Which are going to appear, but I'm trying to go. I'm looking for. I think probably Ballerina is one of my favorite ones. I'm looking forward to this year because it's
Ballerina.
It's John Wick, so what's not to love there? Personally, also, I hope that's all they do, apart from maybe the Donnie Yen spinoff. But I don't want a John Wick 5. I say leave him dead.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't cheapen the ending of that movie. I hate when they do that. So I would just leave that because the character did everything he needed to, and I think by dragging it out into another one would just be too much.
And he went back to his wife.
He didn't get his car back. He didn't get. It's more important. He didn't get his car back. Damn it. He needs to get his car back.
That is true. Yeah, he needs to come back just to get his car.
Just the car. That's it. Don't even show me his face. Just getting in the car and driving away.
Yeah.
He's in heaven with his wife and his dog, so it's all good.
You really think he went to heaven after all that? You really?
Yeah,
it's where he is.
I am thinking. I have made a New Year's resolution because after the shit show that was 2024, that today was day one, and day one was great. So I'm like, you know what? It's already a good year. So
that's fine. I think everybody should have a good one. Does Nobody 2? Is that slated for 2025?
Yeah, Nobody 2, which is directed by the guy who directed The Shadow Strays, Timo. So that's going to be awesome. It's going to be
I can't wait.
Too, so that's great.
Can't wait.
Ron, hey Ron, happy New Year.
It's Ron.
Happy New Year.
Oh.
Yeah, as for me, I'm just continuing to write my World War II book right now and advertising the other ones when I can.
Yep.
Yeah, keep going. And like I said, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have J-Man back. You're not allowed on next week, J-Man. You're going to stay sitting in your ass and you're not going to join us until you're feeling 100%. And also, we're going to have the girls back soon. We're going to talk Speed.
Such a good movie.
Let's talk Speed too. That'll be more fun.
We're going to mention both.
Yes.
We've done that on my buddy's podcast, and damn it, we had a blast with that fucking movie.
Wow, what a cluster.
It's a cluster, but goddamn it was fun.
Yeah.
William Dafoe was like, you know what? This sequel sucks, but I am going to act the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to chew the scenery anyway. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, how do you take away all attention of the first one? You put it on a slow-moving cruise ship. This looks so crap.
The ending is still just as ridiculous when you guys rewatch it. And to know that they built half of a boat and crashed it into a full set of a village that they built. They went through that much fucking trouble for Speed 2 cruise control.
I know. So we've got all kinds of good stuff coming up. Like I said, I'm looking forward to talking Rambo 3 just for any excuse to talk a Rambo movie.
Rambo 3.
But I feel like people dump on it, and I'm like, fuck you, Rambo 3 is awesome. So excuse to talk about that. And then there's going to be more stuff coming, but I'm not going to say it now and spoil all the fun. But so next week is going to be 30 years of Street Fighter, although really it's probably 31 because it's probably 30 in 2024. But anyway, hey, we made it to an hour. Everybody, I didn't think we would make it to an hour, but we did.
We did good. We did real good.
Oh, an hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah. We didn't really get off too much of a topic. We talked movie, then talked some what we got for the year. I think we did good.
We did real good. Yeah. So anyway, guys, so happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm very pleased at the amount of people who showed up. I didn't think anybody would. So get well soon, J-Man. We hope to have you back soon, but not too soon. And we will see you soon. And if you are watching, remember, you are the Action Elite.